Hello and welcome to another Demis Hellen tutorial. In this video we're going to look at Serum again, and we're going to use bandpass in a kind of a creative way. You'll probably recognise the sound, which is kind of that acidy sound that you can get in a lot of trance music. It's a very good track starter, back-in sound, keeps the pace of the track and stuff like that, and you can kind of move it around in the frequency spectrum. So let's have a look at the pattern that I've created. So I've just looped this here. Let's just have that down there for change. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to build from oscillator A and B, and we're going to be using the filter. So first things first, I'm going to turn the envelope down to get a nice plucky sound. Okay, and then I'm going to pick out of here, out of the multis, we're going to pick the bandpass 12. And as you can see, we've got that bandpass shape there. Now I want to emphasize this, which to give that classic sound, so I'm going to boost the resonance to give it a bit of a peak, so we're sweeping through the spectrum a little bit more obviously. And then this is where the built-in drive comes in brilliantly to obviously control how high that peak is. So we've got frequency here, so I'm going to put that there to boost the peak, and then I'm going to use the drive to control that. So let's have a listen. Alright, so oscillator B, I'm going to put the analog and then acid, and we get this lovely acid wavetable here, so some really sharp or really kind of thickened out sound. So we're going to put A and B on for the bandpass, and I'm going to pick a spot where I like the sound of it. Sounds quite nice there. Okay, so we've got kind of the sound that we want there, and then from here it's obviously down to personal taste. You can add a bit of noise in there, but I'm going to jump into the effects and give it some depth. So we're going to use the delay, and I think we'll just put it on to 8th notes here. Let's just try. We don't want any delay there. I just need to reset that to 0, sorry, I'm messing around there. Okay. Now, I don't want so much on the bottom end. It's not too obvious there, so let's just put one on quarter. Okay, I'm going to put a bit of EQ on, and I'm just going to lower the bottom end. And I'm going to boost the top end a little bit more. And then the key here is distortion. Now the distortion I want before the delay, but I'd like the EQ before the delay really, so we're not kind of going through all those frequencies that we don't want. Just keeps it a little bit cleaner. So I'm just going to pick, let's just pick tube for now, drive that up and just see what happens. Oh, sorry. It sounds quite nice on tube there. So if we go back to the oscillators here, so as you can see, it's turned into this really acidic sound, and it's really good for filling in a background, especially if we up the tempo here to something like 144. Let's give it a little bit slower. So obviously with the macros we could start controlling the cutoff and boosting the resonance here and there, so we could create something a little bit more complex. So we might as well do that now. So we've got this, which will boost it from there. I don't want it to go all the way up, so let's just have it to about there. So when it's full, that sounds quite nice. And then, in fact, let's just, sounds quite nice just right down there. So we can have the macro control there. So if we call that acid control, then we can also join that onto the resonance, and maybe we could have it peak a little bit less as it goes up. There, and then I'm just going to turn this down a little bit to compensate. Okay, so we have additional control there. We can even go as far as controlling the drive, the mix, the tube. We could have the drive set here when it gets to full peak. So let's turn it up. So when it's fully down, you could just have that little bit of control there. So if it goes, say it drops to there, and then you just want it to go full there when you turn it up. So we have a manual control there. I'm just going to add one more thing here. I'm going to boost the gain to about, yeah, I'll boost it back to where it nearly was in its previous state. I've got to think this through. Yeah, so when we turn it up, there, it turns the bass down and adds a little bit more character back into it on the lower end when it's quieter. Okay, so we've got an acid control there on one of the macros. What we also could do is have an LFO control in that. So if you put that on there, set that to like there and there, and then set this into bars. So if we set 4 bars, so at the moment we're on, I'm sure we're on some sort of re-trigger there. I want it to just continue as it goes through. I'm still coming to terms with all this, so please bear with me. Trigger mode. See, we could have trigger mode there. That's so you've got all sorts here. You get to take BPM off there. So you can even have that going. I'm just messing around here. This is just showing you what it's capable of. Okay, and we're going to add LFO2 onto the pan. Just to give it a little, let's give it 16ths there. Just to give it a bit of depth there. And then we'll add the final bit. Where are we? Reverb there. No, reverb, compressor. So you've got all sorts here. You can have that on there. Let's give it really fast. Give it 2 to 1. turning down there. Another thing here we could add, we could control a decay, and we could have it there, and then we can have it turn up back to where I had it originally when it fades in. So that gives it a more syncopated and transient feel to it. There's so many ways you can go about this. I'm just showing you some of the things that I'm just going through right here, right now. So that's using envelope 1, and I'm using the 2 LFOs. I'm using one on trigger mode here, which is triggering the cutoff very, very fast here. So it's not quite reaching the top. And that is set to a 2-bar speed. Obviously you can change that sound by doing this. So you can create some maybe bass sounds by using really, really, really fast trigger modes using the LFO. And then the LFO 3 there is controlling the pan. And then we have this acid controller here. So we could assign more parameters to all other things. We could start doing some real serious pitch shifting and all sorts. But we want to kind of keep it more to the acid side of things. So it might sound a little bit too resonant there. So we have a finer control there, and that sounds quite nice. So this preset, we'll rename it now, and we'll save it into here, and then I'll make it free in the description below as usual. So we'll call this, I'll call it AL for acid lead, and we'll call this, we're going to give it a really random name now. Let's have a look. There you go. Gidge bar. So that is the first acid lead, which is now created in Serum. So I'll leave it for you to experiment. You can change this patch up. You can follow this tutorial again and just get to grips with how things are working, because there's a lot of things going on there. You could add that white noise in there to really give it that crispy transient side to it. You could probably create, like I showed you there, a faster trigger mode, maybe make it a bit sharper on the trigger mode. There's so many things you can do, but that is the patch acid lead, and it's Gijba. I can't even pronounce it, and it's available for free through Facebook, so just follow the link below. It'll take you there to all the other ones, and it'll be under the Serum category. So again, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. If you found it useful, just let me know in the comments below. Share the love. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and you'll see everything that is happening. And just check back every Thursday for new videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.